parole est à l'Allemagne.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Permettez-moi, en premier lieu, de souhaiter la bienvenue à notre débat à leur Excellence, le Premier ministre de Serbie, Monsieur Ivica Dačić, le Premier ministre du Kosovo, Monsieur Hashim Thaçi, le ministre des Affaires étrangères du Kosovo, Monsieur Enver Hoxha, ainsi que le ministre des Affaires étrangères de Serbie, Monsieur Ivan Mrkić. Tout comme les orateurs qui m'ont précédé, je tiens à remercier le représentant spécial du secrétaire général, M. Farid Zarif, pour son exposé détaillé. Au cours des 3 derniers mois, nous avons été les témoins des 2 événements politiques majeurs au Kosovo et dans la région dont je voudrais vous entretenir aujourd'hui. Premièrement, les élections présidentielles et législatives en Serbie au mois de mai, qui ont conduit à la formation d'un nouveau gouvernement à Belgrade. Nous nous félicitons qu'une très large majorité des Serbes, 75%, ait apporté leur soutien à des partis souscrivant au renforcement de l'intégration de la Serbie dans l'Union européenne. Je vous assure, Monsieur Dačić, que l'Allemagne restera un partenaire fiable, prêt à coopérer étroitement avec votre gouvernement et à soutenir le processus de réforme nécessaire. Nous nous félicitons également que les citoyens serbes au Kosovo aient pu participer à ces élections sans rencontrer de grands problèmes de sécurité. C'est là le résultat d'une coopération pragmatique entre toutes les parties impliquées et aussi de l'appui remarquable prêté par l'OSCE, la police kosovare, la mission EULEX et la KFOR. Le gouvernement du Kosovo a saisi cette occasion pour démontrer qu'il prenait activement en compte les intérêts de la minorité serbe du pays. Ces élections montrent également qu'il est possible de réaliser des compromis sur des questions pratiques quand il existe une volonté politique de trouver une solution pour le bénéfice des 2 parties. Après la formation du nouveau gouvernement serbe, nous espérons que le dialogue facilité par l'Union européenne entre Belgrade et Pristina reprendra rapidement. Étant donné la perspective européenne à la fois de la Serbie et du Kosovo, ce dialogue reste le moyen le plus efficace pour contribuer à pérenniser la paix et la stabilité dans la région. Nous soutenons donc pleinement l'initiative de la haute représentante de l'Union, Catherine Ashton, qui vise, sous son égide, à hisser ce dialogue à un niveau politique afin d'accomplir des progrès tangibles et durables dans la normalisation des relations entre Belgrade et Pristina. Nous saluons le fait que le Premier ministre Dačić ainsi que le Premier ministre Thaçi ont indiqué qu'ils étaient disposés à s'engager dans un tel dialogue. Mr. President, the swift and full implementation of existing agreements, for example, of integrated border management or the representation of Kosovo in regional organization, remains key. As a second step, agreements need to be reached in the areas that have not been tackled yet, like energy and telecommunication. On his recent, very timely visit to Kosovo and other countries in the region, including to symbolic places such as Srebrenica, Prizren, and the Dekani Monastery, the Secretary-General has consistently highlighted this need for the resolution of existing tensions through dialogue and closer regional cooperation. With a view to Kosovo, we hope that both sides will respond to the Secretary-General's call by constructively engaging in the high-level dialogue process as a necessary step to fulfill their country's European aspirations. Mr. President, the second major political development I would like to touch upon today is the decision taken by the International Steering Group on 2nd July to end the supervision of Kosovo's independence and to close the International Civilian Office in Kosovo accordingly. Ending supervised independence, which still requires the adoption of the necessary constitutional and legislative amendments by the competent Kosovo authorities, is based on our firm conviction that Kosovo has grown into a democratic and multi-ethnic state by implementing its obligations under the Ahtisaari Plan. These include, inter alia, the passing of laws on the rights of ethnic minorities, on cultural and religious heritage, and on decentralization. However, certain challenges persist, and we condemn all acts of inter-ethnic violence by all parties and reaffirm our strong support for continued cooperation between the Kosovo police and EULEX in this regard. Other parties, including Serbs in northern Kosovo, need to refrain from violence and enhance their cooperation with EULEX as well. The report provided by EULEX, however, clearly indicates that acts of violence against perpetrators of all ethnic backgrounds are already investigated and prosecuted. Statements making different claims are therefore simply false and dangerously misleading. We welcome UNMIK's focus on the challenges faced by minority communities in Kosovo, as well as on the question of voluntary returns to Kosovo. However, any future analysis of the question of voluntary returns would also need to take economic and demographic factors into account. Finally, I would briefly like to touch upon the situation in northern Kosovo, where the security situation remains volatile. Due to roadblocks and repeated physical attacks on EULEX staff and vehicles, free movement of EULEX remains impaired. We strongly condemn ongoing roadblocks and threats against EULEX staff and call upon all parties, especially the Serbian authorities, to use their influence on the responsible actors in northern Kosovo to allow EULEX to fully carry out its mandate. We also strongly condemn continued acts of violence against KFOR, such as the use of firearms by Serbian protesters against a group of KFOR soldiers on 1st June in a clear attempt to severely injure or even kill the soldiers. Ultimately, the problems in northern Kosovo can only be solved politically. Building confidence between the local population and the competent authorities in Pristina remains indispensable. In this context, we commend the government of Kosovo on its decision to establish an administrative office in northern Mitrovica. This decision marks an important step in a broader outreach strategy towards the Serbian population in the north. And we encourage all actors on the ground, including UNMIK, to support Pristina's outreach initiative. Mr. President, let me once again stress that Germany takes the allegations contained in the so-called Martyr report seriously. We are therefore very pleased that the important work of the Special Investigative Task Force has progressed significantly since our last debate in May. The passing of a law that enables the task force to conduct full, fair and independent criminal investigations in Albania has been a major step. The task force has also intensified its cooperation with other relevant counterparts in the region and ICTY. We therefore call on all sides to stop engaging in discussions about reporting lines, roles and responsibilities, and rather unite behind the Special Investigative Task Force's important work. Thank you, Mr. President.
Merci. La parole est à la